A few housekeepings. This is being recorded, so you will have access to it after. There's also a QA function. So if you have any questions, you can type them out and we will be able to answer them. And then also, if you do need to enable closed captioning, you can also do that. That is a feature on Zoom. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Dylan, and I am a customer support manager here at Savvy. I really appreciate your time and being here today. Meet Savvy. You are our top priority. We're here to serve student loan borrowers, not the student loans. I think one of the best aspects about Savvy is we have insider information. We have over 2 decades of expertise, and a lot of people that work at Savvy currently have student loans or previously had student loans, and that definitely allows us to know exactly what you're going through, which allows us to help you even more. Lastly, saving has never been easier. We help all of our users take advantage of the repayment options and forgiveness options that they qualify for. Savvy is a great program to use because you're able to see everything that you qualify for in just one place. So we make it very, very easy for you. And also, you have a team here of student loan experts. So if you do have any questions, we will be able to help you. A little bit more about us. We partner with a bunch of different employers and membership organizations to offer services as an employer benefit. And we help out with everything student loan related. So I know that this webinar is geared more towards public service loan forgiveness and income-driven repayment plans, and also a lot of policy updates, but we do help out with a multitude of things regarding student loans. So if you do have federal student loans, just know that we can help you. And we are available to you and your family members. As of today, we have over 500 companies in the Savvy community, and it is great to see how much we've grown over such a short amount of time. So here's the agenda for me going over some student loan basics. I will talk about servicers, types of loans, and then I'll talk about income-driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness as well. So these are servicers. If you have federal student loans, you're probably familiar with some, maybe even all of these companies. Just know that these companies hold federal student loans. So when it comes to sending you correspondence, it will be directly from your servicer. And also when it comes to making your monthly student loan payment, it will be directly to your servicer. This slide is about loan type, and we have this in here because it is really important when it comes down to the programs that you do qualify for. I like to start with describing direct loans. Direct loans, I like to call them the most basic loan type because they're already eligible for the programs that most savvy users decide to pursue. So if you do have direct loans, whether it's a direct subsidized or a direct unsubsidized loan, and you are interested in public service loan forgiveness or checking out an income-driven repayment plan, just know that that loan type is eligible. There's a few loan types here that are highlighted in red. First is FFEL, and the second loan type is Parent Plus. So if you have a FFEL loan, Parent Plus loan, maybe you have a mix of the two. It doesn't mean that you're not eligible for those forgiveness programs. It just means that you need to take an extra step to get there. And that step is called the consolidation process. Like I said, Savvy offers so much help when it comes to all of these programs and processes. So if you do need help with consolidation or you're confused about consolidation, or you're just trying to figure out even like what loan type you have, and even if you do need to consolidate, I definitely recommend that you sign up for Savvy because that's something that we help all of our users with. Basically, if you do have to consolidate, we will walk you through that process. And then what will happen is your loan type will change to a direct loan. That way you will be able to pursue those federal programs. Lastly, private loans. So private loans are non-federal, so they do not qualify for any type of federal program at this time. So getting into income-driven repayment plans, I see a question here that says, what is income-driven repayment? And I'm going to be describing that now. There are three plans at this time: Pay, IBR, and ICR. Save is also an IDR plan, but it is on hold due to lawsuits. So some of you in this webinar may actually be in the Save plan forbearance, and I do have some policy updates on that later on. So an income-driven repayment plan is called an income-driven plan because it's predominantly based on your income. So if you have a relatively higher income, your monthly payment will be higher. And if you have a relatively lower income, your monthly payment will be lower. It's not just based on your income. They do take into account family size as well. For example, how many dependents you have. IDR plans are great because you could be in a situation where you could qualify for a very low repayment, also sometimes even a $0 payment. So I would definitely say that those who are retired really enjoyed IDR plans because unlike someone in the workforce, their salary isn't growing every single year. So if you're retired and your income is pretty stable, then I think an IDR plan is best for you because it really just locks in your payment. So there's no surprises when it comes to how much you're going to be paying every month. Also, relatively lower incomes as well. If you're in the workforce, maybe you don't have a super, super high income, you could qualify for a very reasonable payment. So in that case, an IDR plan would be a great option for you as well. Also, even if you're not sure, Savvy is a great program to sign up for because that's exactly why we're here. We're able to look at your income, we're able to look at your family size and your loan information to figure out if you, one, qualify for an IDR plan, and then two, we can enroll you in that plan directly from your Savvy account. Um, Also, you do need to recertify your plan every year. So if you are in an IDR plan, you have a recertification date. I would say a lot of Savvy users do prefer to go through Savvy because we will submit the recertification for them. It's definitely nice. We take the stress out of it for our users, especially if you're unsure on when your recertification date is. That's something that we will find out for you and submit your application. It's really important that you do recertify on time, because if you don't, your servicer will kick you off of your IDR plan, which is not an ideal situation because then they're not going to be basing your monthly payment on your income and your family size. For example, they will kick you off of your IDR plan and put you on a standard plan, for example, so it could hike up your payment. So just know if you are in an IDR plan, it's really important to recertify on time. Another perk about being on an IDR plan is that you will be eligible for forgiveness. IDR forgiveness is great because I know that Savvy helps out with public service loan forgiveness. So in that case, you do need to be working in public service. We also help users with teacher loan forgiveness. So you do need to be a teacher full time. If those jobs don't apply to you, IDR forgiveness is your next best option because it does still allow you to get loan forgiveness. And you don't need to have that specific employment. Um, you need to pick an IDR plan and stay in that plan for 20 or 25 years, depending on which plan you choose. And then as long as you're making your monthly payments on time and full, you know that down the line you will be eligible to get your loan balance forgiven. Now I will transition and talk about public service loan forgiveness. So there's three main requirements. One, you need a qualifying employer, so that's going to be government organizations at any level, federal, state, local, or tribal, or nonprofit 501(c)(3)s. They define full-time as at least 30 hours a week. So as long as you're working 30 hours a week, you will be considered full-time for this program. You can also combine multiple part-time jobs to fulfill that requirement. Second, you need qualifying loans. So public service loan forgiveness only forgives direct loans. So that goes back to my loan slide in the beginning. It's really important to know your loan type. And if you don't, that's obviously something that we will help you with. But if you don't have direct loans, we will help you change your FFEL or Parent Plus loans to a direct loan. So you will be entitled to this forgiveness. And then lastly, you do need to be in an income-driven repayment plan. That's also something that we will help you with. As long as you're meeting these three requirements, you will be eligible for public service loan forgiveness. A little bit more about this program. You need to make 120 payments while meeting all three requirements. So the 120 number comes from the fact that it's a 10-year program. So you do need to make one payment every month for 10 years, and that totals to 120 payments. Even though it is designed to be a 10-year program, I definitely think it's actually more common for people to take a little bit longer to get public service loan forgiveness, which is completely normal. And that's due to a multitude of reasons. For example, I've been working for Savvy for almost 5 years now, and I've seen people, they go into the private sector, for example, so they're not working in public service anymore, and then they decide to come back to public service to fulfill their 120 payments. I've seen people take time off work entirely, for example, if they have kids, so for a specific amount of time, they're not working full time. I've also seen people go back to school. So during that time, they're in an in-school deferment, and that time period doesn't count. So just know that the payments don't need to be consecutive, and that's okay. As long as eventually you do hit the 120 payments, that is when the loans will be forgiven. Lastly, you cannot make extra payments to qualify sooner. So there is one form when applying for this program, and that is called the Employment Certification Form, also known as the ECF. And I would say a lot of people do decide to sign up for Savvy because we help out with this form. Like I said in the very beginning of the presentation, as of now, we have over 500 companies in the Savvy community. So when it comes to getting these forms filled out and signed by your employer, it's a very, very quick turnaround time. And it's all done in the Savvy tool, which is very convenient and seamless. So in case for you, if you do need to get any of these ECFs filled out, you don't need to like go onto your company website or try to find the form online, print it out, try to figure out who in HR will sign it. It can just be very complicated and confusing. So, if you do need to get any type of ECF filled out, whether it's your current employer or previous employer, that is something we will take care of for you. And we are a team of experts. We specialize in these forms, so we make sure that everything is filled out correctly and submitted to federal student aid so that it is processed correctly and on time. Okay. Let us know if anyone has any questions on anything I've said so far. As of now, I will be transitioning into some policy updates. These are really new policy updates, actually, as of today. So a lot of this will be new information. So the SAVE plan is on its way out. I know a few of you mentioned that you were in the SAVE plan, so that is definitely something that a lot of our users will have to prepare for. So when the court settlement is finalized, SAVE will end. So that basically means no one will be allowed to enroll in SAVE, and everyone in SAVE will have to be in a new repayment plan. A lot of people that have been in Save have been in this forbearance. So a lot of you haven't been making payments since July of 2024. So that has been a very long time. So it will definitely be a transition. Interest also did start to accrue on August 1st of 2025. Um, and also if you're in Save, you will be moved to a different repayment plan. Now, you do have the option to switch to a different repayment plan now, if that is something that you would like to do, or if maybe you're curious to find out if you should do it now or if you should just wait until the settlement is finalized. I definitely recommend creating your Savvy accounts and talking to one of our experts so we can kind of guide you through that process. I definitely think it's a personal decision, but just depending on which program you are pursuing, leaving the Save plan now or later, definitely could be either option. We will definitely lead you in the right direction when it comes to that. Like I said, borrowers can still enroll in IBR Pay or ICR. The rules around IBR have been expanded, so you no longer need to prove partial financial hardship to qualify. I would say right now there is a processing delay when it comes to switching your IDR plan. Right now, processing is just kind of slow, especially with the holidays just ending. There's a lot of applications that are in backlog. Also, I know a lot of people have been doing buyback requests. So I would say right now, FSA is a little bit slow, but that doesn't mean that they're denying applications. The processing is just slightly slower than usual. Congress and the Department of Education are in the middle of a major redesign that is reshaping the set of repayment options over time. So over the next few years, the amount of IDR plans will shrink. And I feel like this is definitely something that we've gone over in our webinars before. Basically, just talking about how the IDR plans are going away, they're going to be phasing out, and we will have the Repayment Assistant Program, also known as RAP. This is scheduled to launch in July of 2026, so the summer. RAP is designed to prevent balances from ballooning by waiving unpaid interest for borrowers who make the required monthly payment. It also includes a small monthly principal benefit for some borrowers. The main difference between RAP and the IDR plans now is that if you do want to pursue IDR forgiveness, the time frame will be different. So I know on my IDR forgiveness slide, I was saying that you either have to make 20 or 25 years of payments to get that forgiveness. However, for the RAP plan, since that's going to be the new repayment plan, you actually have to make 30 years of payments. So that is something that is going to change when that plan is rolled out. So, because this change is happening July 2026, it is going to be pretty common for people to, for example, start with pay or IBR or ICR, but by the time their payment ends, they're going to be transitioned into the RIP plan, which is okay. We don't have any other option because they are phasing out the IDR plans. Wage garnishment restarts for defaulted borrowers. Wage garnishment for defaulted federal loans is restarting in January, with the first wave of notices going out January 7th. So that was just yesterday. If you are in a situation regarding default, you may have received the notice, and if you have not, it's definitely going to be coming, whether it's going to be this week or next week. It allows for up to 15% of disposable pay to be withheld from each paycheck. Garnishment can start quickly once a borrower is in default, and it can pull money straight from paychecks without a court order. once it starts, it's harder to reverse. So if you are in a situation where you are in delinquency or default, that is 100% something that we can help you with immediately, along with all of the other programs that we help with. That is also something that we specialize in. So if you like received a notice for defaulted loans, or maybe you're nervous about receiving a notice soon, I definitely strongly recommend signing up for Savvy so we can stop the garnishment before it happens. Many borrowers are near a default cliff. Borrower data and borrower surveys are painting a clear picture. Lots of people are making trade-offs between loan payments and basic needs, and a growing number of borrowers are behind on payments. A lot of people are already in default, and a lot of people are very close to default. When people talk about a default cliff, they're describing a pipeline because delinquency can turn into default in a matter of months. For example, if you miss a payment or even two payments, the consequences can definitely escalate very, very quickly. I feel like there's truly not a lot of grace when it comes to not making your student loan payments, and your loan can just go from good standing and then you miss a few payments and then all of a sudden you're in default. So it's just really important to stay on top of your student loan payment. I always know I recommend people to be in auto pay just to avoid slipping into default. It's just really easy just to turn on your auto pay. I know a lot of servicers will change your interest rate by like 0.25% if you enroll in auto pay, so there could be a little bit of a benefit there, but also just kind of takes away just the anxiety of missing a payment as well. And if you need help with that, that's definitely something that we can help with as well. I know a lot of people right now are worried about public service loan forgiveness. It's still a program. It was written into law, so it's safe. Public service loan forgiveness is not going anywhere. I know for IDR forgiveness, the payment tracker, um, a lot of people couldn't see their progress in the payment tracker, and many borrowers right now still can't view their progress when it comes to IDR forgiveness. So it's definitely causing a lot of people anxiety. It's harder to spot errors. It's harder to see which months are counting towards forgiveness and which months are not. That's exactly why we're here. If you need help figuring out like how to contact your servicer or who to send a message to see the progress for when it comes to your income-driven repayment plan progress, we can definitely help you do that. I know a few people had questions on Parent Plus loans. Rules are changing for Parent Plus loans in 2026 as well. If you need to consolidate your Parent Plus loans, and if you don't consolidate before July 1st, you risk losing access to income-driven repayment and forgiveness altogether. Consolidation deadlines are hard cutoffs. The consolidation process must be complete by July 1st, meaning that you do need to submit your application around 3 months before the deadline. So if you need help, or if you're even considering consolidation, or you're not sure if you need to consolidate or not, anything having to do with Parent Plus loans, I definitely recommend reaching out to us so we can just guide you through that process. I would say do that now just because the if you do need to consolidate, they need to be consolidated by July 1st, and sometimes consolidations can take 3 months, sometimes they can take 4 weeks. So it's just safe just to get this knocked out as soon as possible because the consolidation needs to be complete by July 1st. And that time frame solely really just depends on federal student aid and their processing. Like I said, sometimes they could knock it out in 4 weeks, sometimes it takes 3 months. There are some new employer eligibility rules that are taking effect in 2026 as well. And that would allow the Department of Education to deny PSLF for certain employers. I know right now we're not sure exactly who those employers are, but we're closely monitoring the situation so we can let all of our users know when we know. Um, Most public service will not be affected by those changes. So I know a lot of people are worried if their employer is not going to be eligible anymore, but just know the majority of people and their PSLF progress will stay the same. Okay, I like to stop here to see if anyone has any questions that I can answer before moving on. Okay, looks like we have a few questions. I go over the cost of Savvy. That's in the second half of the presentation. I know we have a few questions on that, so just stay tuned. No, Savvy's not a loan servicer. We're not a private lender. We are an independent company that helps people with their student loans. So even when you do sign up for Savvy, your loan servicer will remain the same. It is a yearly membership fee. I will go over the cost. That is the second half of the presentation. Yeah, and I also will talk about how to sign up for Savvy as well. That's all during the second half. Irene, we could possibly help you with teacher loan forgiveness or public service loan forgiveness. We would just need more information. So I just recommend creating your Savvy account. That is the first step. And I'll talk about how to do that on the second half of the presentation. I would say a lot of the majority of nurses pursue public service loan forgiveness. Yeah, your loan servicer will remain the same when you sign up for Savvy. We're not a loan servicer. We do not hold loans. Yeah, if you work for the state, that does qualify for public service loan forgiveness. So that is a 10-year program we can help you with. I don't have any more slides on Parent Plus loans, but you can just ask your questions in here and we'll be able to answer them. No, you cannot switch your collection agency. That's just something that happens automatically. That is assigned to you. It depends on the media company. It needs to be a PSLF eligible employer. Marilyn, since you are an AARP member, it means that you have access to Savvy. So I'll talk about creating your account during the second half. Deb, that is something that you can find out through your Savvy account. There is the employment section where we ask you to put in your previous employers and current employers, and that's when the Savvy software determines your employer eligibility. Yes. If you work for school that was 501(c)(3) and it's closed, that still qualifies for PSLF. So we can help you submit that form. Obviously, it's just a little bit of a different process because there's no HR person since the business is closed. So there's just a different route that we need to take to get that employer to qualify. But yeah, that still counts. If you got laid off, the best option is to immediately enroll in an IDR, in my opinion, because that way you can show that you don't have an income. And that information gets sent to your servicer, and then they will just make your monthly payment $0. And that's something that we can help you with. No, you can't use oh, your mom is an AARP member. So she can create her Savvy account and then she can invite you, and then you can create your own Savvy account. So I'll talk about that in the second half as well. Yeah, 10 years forgiveness. It's for all government work. Yep. Is there option for consult prior to signing up for Savvy? Yes, there actually is. We have a designated AARP consultation, and that's from an expert on our team. It's a phone call that you can sign up for, and I have a slide on how to do that. The second half starts when I stop answering these questions. You're welcome, Crystal. Okay, really good questions. I will continue the presentation now. So as we can see, it can be very confusing dealing with these federal loans because so much stuff is changing, especially right now. I would definitely say that we have a lot of changes coming in 2026, especially when it comes to Parent Plus loans and especially when it comes to these IDR plans. So even if you have your federal student loans in good standing, I still think it's a great idea to make a Savvy account, even just for policy updates or joining our webinars that we have, just to make sure that you are up to date on everything that's going on with these loans. But other than that, there's a lot of benefits to Savvy. So one, you're able to see the repayment options that you qualify for and the forgiveness options. You may be not sure that you even qualify for public service loan forgiveness or IDR forgiveness. Maybe one program is better for you than the other. That's all the information that the Savvy software provides. Then two, I kind of just mentioned this, but the policy updates. Three, like the more paperwork aspect of Savvy, which is great. If you need anything submitted to your servicer or federal student aid, we will do that for you. We will fill out the forms on your behalf, make sure that everything looks good, and we will submit the paperwork. So we take the stress out of it for you. Also, when it comes to those ECFs, I would say that's a major reason why people decide to sign up for Savvy since we work directly with your employer to get those filled out and signed. And then you have access to our customer support team. So whether you prefer phone call, live chat, or email, if you need any questions answered, then Savvy is a great program because you can talk to our experts. So now I'm going to talk about getting started with Savvy, creating your application, and that's when you're able to see your options and you could start submitting now. So these next slides will talk about creating your account. So if you do want to go through the walkthrough, it's going to be at this website here. This is also something that we could put in the chat so you guys can have access to, but it's aarp.org/student loans. I also have a QR code here. I know a few people wanted the QR code again. If you have a smartphone and you would like to create your account now and follow along, you could definitely scan this and follow along. I know a lot of people do prefer just to continue to watch the webinar and then sign up later. That's also totally fine. If that sounds like you could always just go to this website after I'm done. Whichever option is fine. So once you go to this website, you will fill out this information here. It's going to ask you for your expected income this year, and it's also going to ask you how much you pay in student loans now. Just fill that out. That is the first step. So you can either log in. I feel like the majority of people here are already AARP members. So if that's you, you have to log into your account, or you can register to become an AARP member. Either way, you will have access to Savvy. And then once you create your accounts, we have a few sections, basically just gathering your information so the Savvy software can complete its analysis. So this is the family section. This is pretty straightforward. They need this information, like your tax filing status, your how many dependents you have, etc. This goes into how much you're going to be paying every month on your student loans. That's why the application it asks you these questions. Income, obviously pretty straightforward. Employment, I know someone had asked a question, wondering how they know if their employer qualifies. And this is what the Savvy software does. So it asks you your current and previous employers and basically just figuring out if they are eligible for public service loan forgiveness, if they're eligible for teacher loan forgiveness, etc. This is the loan sync section. This is important going back to the very beginning on the the loan slide that I had, basically just talking about the different types of loans and if they qualify. It's totally okay if you're unfamiliar with your loan type. I know it can be very confusing, especially with like the different loan codes and whatnot. This is what Savvy's here for. So you're able to sync up your loans from your servicer, and that's how we can figure out if they qualify or if they need to be consolidated. We will be flagged on our side, and that's when we will reach out to you to help you consolidate your loans. Okay, so this is the plan options page. After you fill out all the information, the Savvy software is able to figure out everything that you qualify for. For example, this user qualifies for 5 different plans, so they're able to see one here. If they would like to see the other ones, they can press this button here. Basically, we'll just tell you the name of the plan, how much you're going to be paying every month, total, how many months and years you'll be paying, and then the expected amount of forgiveness. Getting into the payment, I know a lot of people had questions on this. We have 3 membership tiers. We have DIY, Essential, and Pro. Um, DIY is always free. DIY is still a great option because you're able to, if you want us to like email you forms that you want to fill out on your own behalf and then submit them to your servicer, we can definitely do that. You also have access to the plan options page. So this screenshot that I had here, you're able to go through the whole flow of the Savvy tool to figure out what you qualify for. So maybe you want to figure out if you qualify for anything without paying first. DIY is still a great option. And then if you do qualify for forgiveness, you can upgrade to Essential or Pro at that time. Essential is our most popular plan. It's going to be $75 a year. You get a lot with Essential. You don't have to fill out any forms. Everything is automated, so we fill out everything on your behalf. We're making sure that your loans stay in good standing, so just making sure that you're staying on top of your loans and you will not go into default or delinquency. You have access to our experts. Like I said, that's going to be live chat, email. We also have the phones. There's a money back guarantee with any paid membership, so that applies for Pro or Essential. So what that means if you do want a refund for whatever reason, we can help you through that process. And then Pro is our next membership tier up. Everything that I mentioned in Essential plus a little bit more. You have access to a financial planner. You have a student loan review. You're also able to ask our experts questions one-on-one for a longer amount of time. So the phone calls that you get with Pro can be up to 30 minutes, sometimes more, because we have a buffer. So I definitely recommend Pro for people that maybe have had like really complicated cases with their student loans, or maybe they just feel like they need more of hand-holding aspect. Pro is definitely going to be your best bet. That's going to be $175 a year. Let me know if anyone has any questions on these membership tiers. This screenshot just shows how the Essential or Pro membership works. For example, this is the first page of an income-driven repayment plan. You see how everything is filled out on behalf of this user. All they have to do is add in their social security number, and we will submit it to the servicer. Also here, this is a user that needs to generate some ECFs. Same deal, they just have to press this button and that's when they e-sign it, and that's when we will reach out to each of these employers to get the forms filled out and signed. Few more screenshots just to get you a little bit more familiar. This is the dashboard. We also have application monitoring. For example, maybe you don't have time to send an email or hop on live chat and you want to see the status of your forms. You could always log into your Savvy accounts and see how your forms are doing. Yes, you can upgrade from Essential to Pro. Some people do decide to do that. They create their Essential accounts and they realize they want a little bit more. Maybe they are interested in the financial planner or the student loan review, and they will decide to upgrade to Pro. Thank you, Travi. We make it really easy for you to reach out to us. We have email and live chat. We also have a great help center where we have a bunch of really good articles. Especially right now with all these policy updates, you may be able to get some general questions answered in the help center. This is the new opportunity that we have for AARP users. Access to a free onboarding call with Savvy's designated 50 plus student loan expert. This is Khadijah. So if you do want to get this free phone call, I definitely recommend doing that. If you want like help setting up your account or enrolling in a plan or really just getting any questions answered, maybe a little bit more detail answers that we can do in this webinar, for example. This is going to be what you need to do. This link is going to be in our follow-up email. So if you're in this webinar, everyone will get this email. So you could always book your call with Khadijah. That link will be in the follow-up email. Deb, if that happens, we would enroll you. Basically, if you ever have a drop in income that happens unexpectedly, there is a form called the immediate recalculation, and we would have to submit that obviously immediately. What that will do is basically just alert your loan servicer that you've had a drastic drop in income, and they will adjust your monthly payment to whatever new income that you have. So, for example, if your income is zero or relatively lower, your monthly payment will also be zero. Okay, so here's the QR code again. I know we have around 15 minutes. I do like to stay online to see if anyone has any questions that we can answer in the meantime. Yes, Lisa. If you do sign up and that happens, we will be able to refund you. Um, th- mm, mm, mm. Yes, Katie. She would need her own account. So you can there is going to be in the le when you create your Savvy account on the left-hand side, there's going to be a button that says invite friends and family. And if you click that button, it will basically allow you to input an email. So for you, you would just put in your daughter's email and she will be able to create her own Savvy account. Yeah, you don't have to be 50 or more to participate. You can definitely still sign up. You're welcome. Yes, if your spouse has their own student loans, then yes, they would have to make their own account, even if you're filing jointly. Thank you, Pam. Shelly, no, you don't have to recertify with through Savvy and then with your loan servicer. If you are a Savvy member, your recertification would just go from us to your servicer, if that makes sense. Like you're choosing to have us recertify, so you won't have to go through your servicer anymore. Thank you, Cream. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Lisa. I know a few Savvy users do decide to tell the Department of Ed that they're working with Savvy, but it's definitely not something you have to do. Um, yeah. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. Oh, another Lisa asked. This is recorded. Everyone will have access to this. Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, this is being recorded, so everyone will have access to this. Thank you, Jane. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Chanel. Thanks, Lisa. Lisa. If you do book a call, it's based on your own availability. So if you decide to become a pro member, There's going to be a bunch of different time slots that you can choose to talk to us, and it will be between the hours of 9 to 5 EST. Thanks, entries. Thanks, Norman, Norma. Thanks, Kira. Thanks, Joe. We have a bunch of different presentations, Irene. If you do decide to become a Savvy member, that's information that we can send you, but we definitely have presentations going every week. Thanks, Kimberly. Yeah, Marilyn, if you decide to book a phone call, um, we can help you. Thanks, Denise. Yeah, the presentation's done, Denny. I'm just answering questions until the top of the hour. Yes. It sounds like you've never submitted a PSLF form before. You said you work with four different 501(c)(3)s, and that's something that we can help you with. So basically, I recommend creating your Savvy accounts and just basically typing in your employers, those four different employers, and then that's how we'll be able to reach out to them. That's how we will be able to reach out to them to get your forms filled out and signed and submitted to federal student aid. Thanks, Kia. Thanks, Cherie. Thanks, Denny. Thanks, Temp. Um, thank you. Michael, I believe we have a Help Center article on all of these changes taking place in 2026, but if you do want to become a Savvy member, you can always um, create your account and then press contact support if you want to talk to an expert or live chat or email, and we'll be able to send you an email with all the info for the Parent Plus loan changes. Steven says, does income for file have to be used if the student loans are in one person's name? I need a little bit more information on what you mean. Um, if you're if you are the loan holder, so if the loan is in your name, it just depends what information we need. Like if you're filing single, then we need your income. And even if the loan is just in your name, we would still need your spouse's information, like their income if you're filing jointly. So it really just depends. But that's something that we can help you figure out. Thank you, Michael. Um, Crystal, let's see, sign up for that. For example, if you want the application filled out on your own behalf, I would say the majority of users sign up for Savvy because they want everything to be digitized so they don't have to fill out the application themselves. I believe it's like around 9 or 10 pages. So they sign up for Savvy, so everything is filled out. And then also like the recertification, they don't want to have to worry about when they have to resubmit, so they'll go through Savvy. And then also the ECFs are, I would say, are a major reason why people sign up for Savvy. Or maybe people have like complicated cases and their employers are closed or they can't reach out to an HR person or maybe HR is like refusing to sign a form. There's a lot of like funky situations where people sign up for Savvy so they can get help with those scenarios. Kia, you can always sign up for Savvy now. Maybe you could be a DIY member to figure out if you qualify for any type of forgiveness, which is the free account, and then you could always upgrade to Essential or Pro later. Thanks, Crystal. Yeah, RJ, we can help you with that. Also, it just depends. I know a lot of people could have like a higher repayment because of their filing jointly. So some people decide to file single or use their own income, not their spouses. There's just different things that we can help you with a little bit more in detail. We would just need more info once you create your Savvy account. Thank you. Okay, looks like we have around 4 more minutes. Let's see if we have any more questions. Thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, Helen. The discount will be automatically applied when you, for example, if you go through this QR code or this website, it will ask you to log in with your AARP information. So the discount will be automatically applied. If that is something you're struggling with, we can also help you. You're welcome. Okay. It is the top of the hour, so Zoom may kick me off of here. I really do appreciate everyone's time and questions, and I look forward to helping you once you create your Savvy accounts. Thank you.